I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be fucking sour, take a cold shower. Scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder. And all the doubters, they're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I'm just telling you to fight for your dreams, but it's not what it seems. Man, it's hard to be seen when everybody wants to be king. Yeah, they all wanna ring, yeah, we all wanna be free. So show me what you got, what you bring, how you fight in the ring, how you take a fucking swing. Do you got heart, are you mean? Got some scars, got some needs, are you willing to go bleed? I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the...
What's going on, ESGN Nation, and welcome back. And we got a brand new franchise here. As you seen the introduction episode just about a day or two ago. We are now part of the Bills Mafia. Welcome to Bills Mafia the Sit-down. As we're back here, first time here today, and this is obviously, you know, if you've been following my series here on the channel, we sit down and kind of talk about the strategies of what I have planned for this club and what we're going to try to do going into this first season. Actually, I've kind of mapped out pretty much almost what we're going to kind of try to do for the draft and also for the second season. Now, of course, everything I will let you know now, subject to card, can change because things can happen. You know, if we happen to, you know, obviously win a Super Bowl, that means, you know, our draft will be drafting last. If we end up going 0-17, well, we might be drafting first. So it all depends really on how our season is and how successful we can be. Now, I do have some ideas here of what we need to do, and I'm going to kind of go through some of these right here. Now, some of the things we are going through, as you take a look here, we're just looking at the roster for right now. But we need to find a decent quarterback. A backup quarterback. I shouldn't say our starter. Obviously, Josh Allen's fine. He's our franchise quarterback, but we need a decent backup because Case Kim and Matt Barkley are not ideal for us for a backup. Also, we need a fullback, a right guard, a right tackle, and then on the defensive side, we need a left end, a left outside linebacker, and of course a kicker and a punter, which is not necessarily important for those last two positions there, but you know, if we happen to come across a player, then, you know, we'll try to do that. Now, some of the players you see here: Cook, Johnson, and of course Zach Moss. Zach Moss, you see here, he is tagged as a future starter along with Cook. Zach Moss is his second year with the club. Or at least as far as I understand here. Of course, Duke Johnson, a former Miami player, he's the kind of bridge player to help not necessarily, he's not a mentor, but he's kind of a player that can help us in the running game in the backfield here. And then of course Cook is excuse me, is the rookie that we drafted here recently in the spring draft. Now Singletary is a guy that I would love to keep around here, but if he has a successful season or if he has a failed season, we're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna get rid of him. He's an 81 overall, and I've looked around in the, if the season would have ended today, if this is the end of the season, he definitely has some good trade value. So depending on how the season plays out, once we get to the trade deadline, which I believe is either week 8 or week 9, I'm not sure. I know they changed it. If he's still, if Cook is just a guy that we cannot refuse to, not let him start, and we got to give him a start because he is a day one starter. He's indicated that in that player tag there. Then we got to give him a shot. So, like I said, we've got some things we can change around and stuff. Also in the running game, we also see Todd Swing here. He is a tight end, but I found out changing his position, he's actually he's about, I think, an overall higher. I think he's a 68 overall in the fullback position, so he could be a future fullback. And there you see his trade tag says he's a trade target young, so we could trade him at some point here, maybe somewhere down the line. Now I don't think I want to, because I kind of want to keep that 3 tight end set, because eventually I will change the playbook, and I kind of like running having a tight end set, kind of familiar to like the Patriots. I've kind of done that in years past in other games. I do that kind of somewhat similar in my Hunt and Scotty series. So that's a player that we definitely could look at, that could help us down the line, both in the tight end position and in the fullback position if we can. Because right now they're in the free agency, there's no fullbacks there to go after if we needed to. And then of course Jamison Crowder is another player. He's up there in age, but he's still got some good value to him. I was looking at him and possibly being traded, and there's several offers for him being traded, as well as Isaiah McKenzie, a player that has great speed, has a pretty great future for us. He's only been in the league for 5 years, but he could be the future. He could be our second. He could be our guy there with Diggs for quite some time. And of course, the other two right there are just recently either 1 year into the league, or they're rookies. And we're going to hold on to them as long as we can, because they got great speed. They got a 90 plus speed there that I'm really excited about having there and doing something with. So I feel like our wide receivers are really stacked. But with Crowder, I just feel like we can kind of use him and maybe get some kind of draft pick out of him, or maybe a position of need that we need right now, like a linebacker or a left end, or some kind of right offensive lineman, and utilize that. So that's something I was thinking about. Of course, Dawson Knox. I recently just watched the episode of one of the Bills, their show called Red and Blue. Definitely go check it out if you're a Bills fan, or if you just want to know something about it. But Dawson Knox, he's got a great story about his when he coming up as a player, in high school, college, and stuff like that. And I thought it was so cool. And that's what I try to do. I try to get to know some of these players by watching the series like that the teams produce on YouTube. Because there's such a great way of just getting kind of into this. This helps me immersion wise to figure out these players and what they're all about and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really excited about throwing to him as he's he's our top tight end. And then of course left tackles, I'm not too worried about. We got some guys there. We got Doyle and Brown that I'm really, really looking forward to utilizing. We're going to start, I think I'm going to get them more involved in the reps in practice, since I know more about that. I've had some practice in that when it comes to the rep system in that game. If you remember last year when we played the Browns series, I had some difficulty. I could not figure out why, like, Nick Chubb was always, he was in the first series or two and then he would be out for the rest of the game. Well, I figured that out now, obviously, and we're going to start utilizing that, and we're going to use more reps, gearing towards the second string guys there, both on the offensive line and on the defensive line, as well as putting them into certain formation packages. So, and I love doing that. I do that in my college football series. If you guys have been following that here on the channel, I try to utilize the formation packages, substitutions as much as I possibly can, so I can get those guys have those experience and get those XP points that they can get, so they can grow as a player. And we can, I can swap guys in and out on a regular basis. I don't have to use the same guys. Avoid injuries, which is always nice. So that, because I am dropping down the injuries quite a bit here. I have done some practice. I've been seeing online, like people are saying that you should drop it down somewhere around 30, between 25 and 35. I have mine right now set at 30. So again, still practice, doing a lot of trial and error, doing a lot of simming, and seeing how things work with that, with the injuries and stuff like that, whatnot. And so far, it looks pretty good. I will say the one thing I'm kind of irking about, and you guys have probably been seeing it online, and you probably experienced it yourselves if you've been playing the game, is the interceptions. It is like interception veal. It's like interception junction on this game this year. And so I am trying to figure out a slider set that is both, I can compete, but at the same time enjoy the game and not have to worry about should I throw the ball or not, or whatever the case may be. I don't want to play scared when throwing the football in this damn game. You shouldn't feel that way. But yeah, anyway, there's just a lot of things that I've been working on with the slider set. It's just I like a lot of people that play this game. If you guys play it yourself, you're probably experiencing yourself trying to find that special sweet spot that you have in the game where the game's not being too cheesy. I know for me this year, like the last 2 or 3 years, I've been playing on All Pro. I've been finding the games a lot more fun, a lot more competitive, and overall just not cheesy. Like, it's just I mean, there's still that coding that's in there. I think it's embedded into EA games, especially Madden games for sure. But I feel like right now in my Brown series, and so far the 10 or 12 games I played in this one so far, exhibition, there's not as much cheese in there, so that's always a nice thing. But other things, other positions here we're looking at, we're looking at long-term situations like Von Miller, who obviously came from the Broncos, and we're looking at him possibly. I think he has a 2-year contract, so we're looking at maybe figuring out what we can do long-term wise for the right end position for season 2. So I've already kind of got that mapped out and what I want to do with Von Miller at that point. Especially if he still wants to sign, we probably put him on a franchise tag or whatever the case may be. But like I said, I've been majority, I think I said this in the last video, in the introduction video of the series, but for the most part here, majority of the time I was playing this game, besides doing the sliders test and all that, because I've been playing both on the PS5, which this series is going to be on, but also on the PS4, doing the same sliders, same everything, mimicking both of them the same. And I've found that there's a lot. I've been working on trying to figure out, mapping out how this first season is gonna, what I would like to see this first season be like when it comes to player personnel. I want to get both our outside linebackers, our second string guys, out there on the field. I want them to get a lot of the majority of the reps in practice. So backups will probably get a lot more reps at the start of the season when full pads, and then eventually we'll get them down to half pads, and then eventually we'll get, then maybe towards the end of the season we'll get the starters getting involved in taking more reps because I feel like that works better than the other way around than having the start, because obviously the starters they're in the game, they're getting the the reps, they're getting the time there and whatnot. Practice, we can do split reps also too now as well, so that's a way we can get extra XP for players like that. So now as I think about it, that'll probably be the best way for us to do it. But then in the center back, or in the corner, center back, I'm thinking of soccer. Our corners, there's actually a pretty good chance that White could be moved to the strong safety position, because his strong, I think he's better. If I remember, his overall goes up by 1 or 2 overall points. So we could see him move over to the from the top corner, which he is right now on the team, to the top safety if we decide to trade Poyer, because Poyer, just like Singletary, he has a really good trade value. So if we can trade him at deadline, by the trade deadline, that would really help us out in cap. Not to mention, I don't want him to walk away, because I know signing him is going to be tough to try to re-sign him. So if we cannot re-sign him at a decent deal early on, because I think week 3 we get a chance to negotiate with him, depending on what he's asking for. We may have to say adios, and then just go ahead and trade him, and then bring in White in that position, and then bring in Dante Jackson, and get him more involved, because he's a player he has a great speed, but his overall is not that great. I think he's like a 66 overall, and I think if we get him on the field on a regular basis, get him some good reps, and then like I said, most importantly, get him on the field, get him some of the experience, I think his overall will definitely shoot up somewhere in the mid 70s by the time the season ends. So if we can do that, if everything lines up the way we want it, if Poyer can give us a decent deal that we can work with, which he's a 90 overall, so he's gonna be asking for some decent money, we may have to limit his play, just a simple fact, so he doesn't get too good on us, and then we can negotiate with him towards the end of the season. Normally, negotiations, if you guys don't know, I don't do anything during this mid-season unless it's legit, like we can legitimately have the money and we can go ahead and re-sign him. But I try to wait until the season's over with, so after everybody's got their their bonuses and their points going up, and XP and all that kind of stuff, then I can see, okay, you did this season. You went from compare their numbers from where they started at the beginning of this franchise to where they're at towards the end of the first season. So I'm gonna be looking at that very closely, see how many overall points they went up from the beginning till we get to that first off season. So a lot of things going on. Of course, we're looking at possibly, for Micah Hyde, he's 31. We got to think about at some point here who is going to play that free safety position somewhere in the future. I'm thinking before end of season 2, we need to better know who is going to be in that position if we cannot re-sign Hyde, because he's got this season and next season on his contract. But like I said, we got 3 great trades I'm looking at with 3 players of ours that we can get, and I think we can probably, there's some pretty good trades here with some decent draft picks for this upcoming draft. Believe it or not, this upcoming the spring of 2023 draft. So we definitely could be having quite a few draft picks, like my buddy Steve always says, we're going to try to do our best and use a lot of draft picks, and which I don't like doing that too much, but it does help out a lot of times, trying to save some money on cap, because you see their cap, we only have 20.2 million, so it's not much. Plus we have that cap that we were at rollover cap, which is 2.35 mil. but I don't know if that's been included or not yet. So I mean, that's something that we have to look into. But one of the things I have been, like I mentioned earlier, I was thinking about moving Sweeney over to fullback, which is still a possibility. We could still probably do that for the most part here. And then I went ahead and just changed Dane Jackson, and I moved him from the corner position to the safety position, so we can go ahead and kind of get him prepared and ready to go just in case if we decide to move Poyer. So we're gonna have Poyer, because the other guy that's there, the safety, he's the same thing as him, but he doesn't have the speed like Jackson does. So that's why I moved Jackson over, so we can have that strong safety, have that great speed. And of course, we have to just work on his zone ability there. Be able to, he's got great speed, so he's got to now, since now he can fly around, he's got to be able to notice, play recognition, all that kind of stuff, and then be able to play well in the zone, especially in deep passing situations. And then Singletary, there you see, obviously, like I said, good. He's got there's some decent trades I was looking at. If the season would end today, there's some pretty good trades there. And of course, obviously, we'll wait until we get to the trade deadline, see what teams are in desperate need of halfback, because obviously injuries is top thing. Running backs are a dime they're a dime a dozen. They get hurt quite often. Teams are always looking for a decent halfback to help them out, especially in a late run. When they got a good run going for themselves, and then got a good chance to get they need some kind of running back to help them in the running game to continue doing what they've been doing because their halfback got hurt and he was on a roll or whatever. They need somebody else to kind of fill that role, so we can do that. And then that I'd be fine with that. That was the case. Like the trade with Singletary will be completely fine with me. I would not have any issues with that. I also put, I believe, Crowder on the trade block. I also put McKenzie on the trade block just in case, just to tease the other teams, see what they're offering. If they're offering something that might be worth something, looking at, then we could, play with the, kind of potentially like, okay, let's talk, let's make a deal. So there's a lot of things we can possibly do here with a lot of with our guys here that got these. This is their last year on their contract, because we can't sign everybody. We honestly can't. We got to sign who we can, and hope the best. As we go along here on this crazy journey that we're going to go on with this club. And I, like I said, in the introduction video, I cannot wait to do this series, because this is such a series that I've been wanting to do, especially with this particular team, with the history they had, and a city that's just like there's several other cities that just need to hurry up and get a damn Super Bowl win, but this is one of them, and they need 4 of them, because they deserve 4 of them, because they should have 4 of them, in my opinion. But but like I said, we got a lot of trades we can look at, and with those 3 players I mentioned already, Porter, Singletary, and Crowder. 3 guys I'm not gonna miss too much, because they're just, to me, they're gonna be very expensive, and we just got to figure out what we can, how we're going to cut the budget, and how we're going to cut how the guy's going to play. Now, remember too, subject always a change. This is not the official roster, so there are going to be changes. So some of the stuff you've seen here may change, because the first actual rosters of the season have not came out yet, because they're still in spring training, or still in not spring training, in preseason. So once preseason's over with, we got the official rosters for all the teams that got their official rosters. Once Madden, the live service starts, and they get the rosters there, I'll get those. I'll start the series, and then, like I said in the other video, in the introduction video, we'll start it in week 1 of the series, and we'll get it started from right then and there. And of course, as you'll see the draft class I mentioned before. You guys want to be a part of that? You guys know what to do. Let me know down below in the comment section if you want to be a part of this series. I think I may not have said this last episode or the last video, but if you want to be a part of this series, all you have to do is follow our Discord. There's a channel there. It's the Buffalo Bills franchise. read that information down below. I'll leave a link. I'll leave a pinned comment down here in this video. But just read that, follow it, and that's how you guys can be a part of this series. I cannot wait for you guys to be a part of this series. I hope you guys will be a part of this series. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I cannot wait, and can't wait to get more into this. So hopefully we'll see more of this coming up, but stay tuned for more here on the channel, you guys, as we got a lot to go work for here in this particular series, and I can't. Hopefully we can get our boys here to the next level and hopefully get them to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl with Josh Allen and the company in this particular series. But that's it for me. Stay tuned for more here on the channel, and I cannot wait. Again, I'm really excited about this series. So thank you guys again for watching. Stay tuned for more here on the channel. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Discord. Links down below in the description. And don't forget to check out our second channel there on ESGNet Plus LP. And as always, keep yourselves healthy, and I will see you all next time.
I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.